I think that's one of the main benefits that the show offers is you have those three experts who are looking out for you and who are putting you together with a focus on your marriage lasting, right? So it puts two people in the position where they have to trust those experts, right? And the good thing about it for me is like it's different than traditional like arranged marriage, right? Arranged marriage in many times is the parents, right? What I like about the experts, they don't have a biased opinion of you. They don't think that you know, you walk on water and they think you're the best thing since sliced bread. Like, no, they're very realistic of who you are. They might be like, yeah, this person, they talk a lot. You know, that person, you know, they are very super outgoing. So they think about those things and look at those things as they are going along in the match. So I think that's the number one benefit. You actually have somebody out looking out for you. Number two, I think, is it's not as easy to walk away as a first date is. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all, I've been on some bad first dates. I mean, I've been on some epically bad first dates where I was looking for Ashton Kutcher, and now because I was like, I must be getting punked because this date is terrible. Like, really, like, have y'all ever been on a first date where you ask yourself the question like, is this person, like, has this person ever gone out in life? Like, have they ever experienced anything because they ask a question or they say something that just like throws you off? Yeah, I've been on some bad first dates. And I can't imagine having a first date and marrying that person, you know, but, you know, much like a first date where you can just like choose to have a date, you can walk out in the middle of the date or you say to that person, hey, I don't want to go forward or what have you. It's not the case when you're married. Like when you're married, you met, like they say in a color, what was the color purple? You's married now. Like you married, you fully married. So now I feel like you have to like go into it understanding and having a heightened understanding and say, you know what, I gotta make this thing work. I gotta figure it out. Like I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but like I'm gonna have to like figure it out. And I think one of the things that people like rarely, I don't know, like understand when it comes to that is the marriages that I've seen that really work are the ones that people are in where they say, you know what, no matter what we go through, I don't care what the challenges are, whether it be family or you get sick or you lose your job or I lose my job, whatever it is, like we're gonna figure it out. Like we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna be better off for it, and that's the thing. So I think that can be the challenge when it comes to that. Like at being married at first sight is, you know, just it's not easy to walk away. Like it's much easier to walk away when it comes to like traditional dating and you know meeting somebody for the first time. I think that's the thing. So that's the first thing I'll go out and say. Second thing, so also the other benefit is you have ongoing coaching and counseling. I think that's so key and so pivotal, like in this moment, because there are a lot of things that a coach or a counselor is going to bring to your attention that you may not think about, right? And when you're getting to know somebody as they are, especially they trust the process of the experts can also give them some understanding of why we matched you. Like we matched you for this express purpose because we thought that you guys were really good together and we thought it would really work. So I think that's one of the things that, you know, we have to like just put out there, right? So when it comes to finances, a lot of marriages break up because of finances. And I think they try to equip people very early, even in the honeymoon stage. Have you guys talked about finances? Have you guys talked about, you know, how you pay bills, how you split up paying bills? You know, is it based on a percentage system, which a lot of people have? So if one person makes $150,000 and the other person makes $75,000, they might say, oh, okay, well, I'll pay, you know, we both pay a percentage of each check where it's not gonna be the same amount, but it's a percentage of what we make, right? So that kind of thing. And there are other people who say, nah, well, we have bills, we're gonna pay a 50-50. You know, you pay half the mortgage, I pay half the mortgage or whatever. But many times we find out in dating, also in relationships, that people have a different understanding, different feeling, if you will, when it comes to like how to navigate that and what that looks like. So I think that's the big part of it that you have to talk about in a healthy way inside of a marriage, you know. So that's it. All right, and also like intimacy issues. Like a lot of people, you're when you're married at first sight, you're meeting somebody off the break, and even though y'all are married, you don't know them yet. So you're not connected with them. You're looking at them kind of crazy, like, I don't know you yet. You cool and everything, you know, yeah, I like you, we kikied at the wedding and reception and all that kind of stuff. But I don't really know you yet. I don't feel comfortable yet to have that physical intimacy with you wedding night or even on the honeymoon. You know, so a lot of these couples, they actually go through a process where they may not be physically intimate, you know, for the first 30 days or for the first, 60 days. Because what the show does is they allow them to say, after 60 days of being married, they have this thing called decision day, where they can decide, are you going to continue to be married and work on all the different things and go forward and live your life because you're legally married, or are you going to go get a divorce? And a lot of couples, they say, I mean, she cool, he cool, but I don't want to be in this anymore. I don't think this is the thing for me, because I feel like a lot of it too is based upon you can't, when it comes to like attraction and stuff, like, people are like, I'm just not attracted to that person that way. I think they're great, they're a good friend, but when it comes to marriage, I don't want to continue to go down this path. So I do think that having the ongoing coaching and counseling that Pastor Kyle and Dr. Pepper and the other two experts they've had over the seasons really do a great job of is really asking them real questions. Because after the honeymoon is over, and anybody who's been in a relationship understands this, there's a honeymoon period of relationship where she can't do nothing wrong. You know what I mean? Even things she does wrong, you think it's cute, all girl. No, I ain't tripping off that. That was so cute. That was so nice that you did that. But then after a while, those same things might get on your nerves, right? And you need to understand how to navigate that and to deal with that. And I really will harken back to the couples that I've seen who made it are the ones who say, I am committed to a process. I am committed to being with you. I'm committed to figuring it out. I am committed to working it out. Whatever it is that is a challenge that we face, we will work it out together. We will find a way, right? And I think that's a big step, in a lot of people's marriages working. So those are some of the like overall benefits that I feel Married at First Sight, going on the show offer, a man or a woman coming into it, because you have people, like I said, who are unbiased, giving you wise counsel, talking you through it. And many times you have your family and friends who don't understand that. They like, whatever, this person, I don't know. I wouldn't hook them up with them. They cool, but I don't know, and then there's a stigma too of like, why would somebody come on a show like this and marry somebody they first met? Is this person crazy? You know what I mean? But I feel like we have to also look at people and say, hey, everybody's journey is different. Let's not focus on that. And I'm gonna tell you about that at the end. So those are the main things. And also the last benefit I'll say is you get a free wedding and honeymoon. And anybody who been married out here, or anybody who been to a wedding, or your cousin and them, or your sister, brother, uncle, mom, whoever got married, weddings are expensive. As expensive as you think a wedding is, it usually costs more than that. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things that you have to really save up for. And people, unfortunately, get into a lot of debt when it comes to weddings that is not good for them. So I think, and you're going to a marriage situation that can already be stressful, getting to know somebody and understanding their values and how they were raised, and how they like they want to sleep on this side of the bed, and they want the temperature on 70, you went on 74, and all that kind of stuff. Like, you have to deal with all that stuff, and then you have to come in with all this debt. So what I like about it is that, at least from a wedding and honeymoon standpoint, you coming in debt free. You got a free wedding. You ain't have to pay nothing for the tux, or the wedding dress, or the venue, or the food, or all that kind of stuff. It's a free wedding and free honeymoon experience, provided for you. And they go to some nice locations. I mean, they out here going to islands and all kind of stuff. So that's another benefit, I would say, of the show that provides that couple the opportunity to come into a marriage situation debt free at least when it is concerning their marriage, their wedding, and their honeymoon, right? Which we know can cost tens of thousands of dollars for a lot of people who are out here, doing those things. So it takes off the pressure. So let's get into the challenges. The challenges that I see when it comes to this show, number one is you have no say in who you're choosing, right? And part of the human experience, we like a say. We like to say, you know what? I'm good, or that's why these apps are so popping, because people like the say of swiping left and swiping right. Like, that's your decision, that's your choice. Like, you have that choice, and you can swipe left or you can swipe right. And I feel like when it comes to, not having a say in choosing your mate, there's so many nuanced things that you just don't know, right? You don't know how they smell. You don't know if they're a clean person. You don't know if they are somebody who you like their laugh. You know what I mean? Like, basic stuff. Like, you enjoy the conversation with them. You feel like you have a good chemistry or a vibe. Like, it's just so many different, like, nuance and little things along the way that you're trusting the experts to help you out with that process, and you have no say in choosing your mate. So that's the one thing I think that is definitely a challenge when it comes to the show. Number two, I would say, is you have to be honest in the process about your non-negotiables. And I always tell people, your non-negotiables are things that you cannot live with and things you cannot live without. Like, there are times where, and people have some like weird non-negotiables. Like, I really don't like it when people, leave that cabinet open. Is that a non-negotiable? That's something you probably can work with that person and say, you know what, hey, I would prefer you to close the cabinet, and they work on that. Like, I mean, come on, right? But when it comes to non-negotiables, we're talking more so about value stuff. So those are things like faith, right? Hey, I'm a Christian, and I want somebody who's a Christian, and that's important to me, right? And we've seen on the show where somebody was raised in a kind of a Christian-like environment, and that seemingly was important to her, or her family. We don't know. We're kind of learning that, in this last season that is actually currently now in New Orleans, where the guy is like, I'm agnostic, So that's something that either she did not communicate effectively when it comes to the show, and she was very open with that, and she was like, I don't really care, whatever. Or it was that's pretty much probably what it is. Because I think the experts would have said, hey, if this person is a Christian and their faith is very important to them and they want that in their marriage, then we have to pick somebody who's like that, right? So I think that's a non-negotiable. Like smoking, a lot of times I've seen is a non-negotiable for clients I've worked with. Like cigarettes. Like, some people just do not like people's breath when they smoking cigarettes, or they don't want to be in a car with that person because the car smell like smoke and stuff. Anybody out here knows a non-smoker. You understand when you get into a car and you're trying to, and it's like the car is full of smoke. It's smoke filled or whatever like that. So I feel like those are things that are non-negotiables that you have to really be honest about that with the experts with. And I think what I've seen with the show is there are times that the people that they choose are not being fully honest. Maybe because they just like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, and we'll work through it. But no, like, this is marriage. This is not dating at first sight. This is marriage at first sight. And I feel like you have to be honest about your non-negotiables. Like, these are some things I cannot live with. These are some things I can't handle. I don't want to go forward. So I think for anybody who's maybe listening to this, watching this, who wants to go on Married at First Sight, who has a friend that wants to go on Married at First Sight, make sure you tell them that your boy Brandon says you gotta be honest, man. You gotta be honest about what your non-negotiables are, what your values are, what your standards are. Because if you do not communicate that with the experts, they are gonna feel like that's a nothing burger to you, something that's not that important to you, and it's something that you really can, see yourself living without. In the last challenge I see is the experts can't predict chemistry or attraction. And I often say this, as somebody who works in this business and understands, there's a lot of things you can help people with, right? Values and expectations and life goals and love languages and all these different things you can kind of help people with. The one thing your boy I can't help you with is chemistry and attraction. I don't know because I've heard somebody before tell me, "Oh, Halle Berry, I'm not really attracted to her like that." You know, Halle Berry's a gorgeous woman. I mean, beautiful, but there's two different things. There's attraction and there's attracted, right? Most people would think that Halle Berry is an attractive woman, but that person was not attracted to Halle Berry, right? So I think that's the tough part when it comes to an expert and when you're picking and you're matching people, is you really don't know when it comes to attraction what's going to go on, and we've seen that in a season. They were in Philadelphia. I watched the Philadelphia season, and one of the characters there, he wasn't attracted to his wife, right? And he was trying to work through it and all kinds of stuff. And I remember one episode, she was crying and she was like, "Yeah, he kissed me, and after he kissed me, he said I repulse him, and he feels dead inside after kissing me." What, man? Let me tell you, where that's that's a date. I know most females, they probably would tell the guy off and never see him again. But you're married now. You know what I mean? So now you're like trying to navigate that, and that was just a mess. And just fellas, don't ever say that to a lady. Our words matter, man. But make sure you just are very careful how you move when it comes to your words, because you can apologize, but you can't take some things back. And to me, that's a hurtful thing. Even Pastor Cal said in that season, I've never heard anybody say anything like to a woman. Like, what? Huh? To your wife? You gonna say you repulse me? You make you feel dead inside after kissing her? Nah. So I just feel like, that's one of the things. And like I said, the other thing, when it comes to chemistry, it is that vibe, as we call it, right? It's the vibe. Like, how do you feel when you're with that person? How you're interacting with them? Like, do you feel excited about it? Like, what's the vibe like? You know what I mean? And I always say this, like, think about the vibe with one of your best friends, right? With your best friends, it's usually easy. And I use best friends, I don't use your family, because your family you didn't choose, right? Your family, you were born into that, and that's your family. But your friend, you chose them, right? They chose you. So, like, think about the vibe that you have with them, and think about what makes that so special. And many times, that's something that will help you when it comes to navigating what you want in your partner. But the one thing, like I said again, the challenge on the show is you can't pick that. You can't pick that chemistry. That chemistry hopefully will build. And I've seen it sometimes. Attraction can build, chemistry can build by being around a person more, getting to know them, learning them, understanding them, asking questions, asking hard questions, having exposure and experiences. Seeing their worldview, seeing where they came from, like learning about their life, like what they went through. All of those different things can aid into that. But I think that chemistry and attraction, that's the challenge of the show. It's really, really, really hard to predict that, and really, really hard to do. So that's the main thing, guys. So I want you guys to watch the show and tell me what you think. Do you like it? Do you feel like it's something that is good for the culture? Like, we can learn from it, we can grow from it. I know it's interesting. We love seeing people to get married. We love going to weddings. So that's the kind of cool thing about the show too, is you get a chance to go to a wedding, virtually and be in the audience like everybody else, because this is the first time they've seen them too, So I think that's the kind of cool part. But I'll close in saying this: why I think the show is effective. I think the show is effective because I think the show highlights something that we all can, whether we want to, marry somebody at first sight and go on that show or not. One principle that I think we can take away from the show is you can make it work with people. Like, you can find a way, I think it's challenging sometimes. And I've seen this with a lot of young ladies. They might not be attracted to the guy right away, right? But attraction grows. Especially if you've been somebody who ain't been treated right a lot. You know what I'm saying? That other brother out here treating you good. He started looking a little bit better. You know what I mean? He got a little more swag to him now. You're like, okay, yeah, So I think that's something that, we can take away from it is you can be thrust into a relationship, you can be thrust into a situation and make it work. And a lot of the older couples I talk to, been married 30, 40, 50 years, what have you, they always talking about, making it work. Like, we had committed to it. I've heard even like Tamala and David Mann talk about this. Like, there was nothing that person, look, we ain't going nowhere. Look, if I'm mad at you, look, I might go to the couch, but I ain't leaving the house. I'm not leaving this marriage. We gonna figure it out. We gonna work it out. We gonna pray about it. Whatever we gotta do, we gonna make it work. So I think that's the thing that this show illustrates in a very kind of dramatic way, that you can make it work with anybody that you have no history with. They might not have grown up in the same area, same town, same experience. You don't know their backstory. You have not done all of these things. You have to just trust the process that will enable you to make it work. And I just hope that, as you guys are dating and going out here and meeting new people, that you actually think about that. Like, you seriously consider that. Like, is this somebody that has the capability to make this thing work? No matter what we go through, and I mean, especially going through a pandemic and all the things that we're going through, you want somebody who says, you know what, I know we're going through a lot, but we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna make it work. And it always just reminds me of like one of the movies I saw years ago that was sad, but it was like, it had a lot of different emotions. It's called Life is Beautiful, and it was about a father, son, and wife who were snatched up into a concentration camp, and he spent every single moment trying to make his son believe that life was still beautiful despite the current circumstances of where they were. And I correlate that to relationships sometimes are not always going to be beautiful. There are going to be times that you are extremely challenged. There are going to be things that happen that challenge you, that push you, that prod you, that make you feel a certain kind of way, that you can't believe somebody would say this to you, that they would do this or whatever. And I'm not saying to put up with disrespect. I'm not saying to put up with abuse. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm just talking about everyday relationship stuff where you just not getting along, or somebody got smart with you, or why did you tell me that? Or, those kind of little things are going to pop up. And in the process of doing that relationship, are you committed to the process? Or have you fell in love with the process so much that you want to make it work, you want to make it succeed, and you're like, you know what? Nothing's going to stop us. And I think that's the thing. When I look at the great sports teams, they have that dynamic too, where they like, nothing is going to stop us. We are going to continue to keep going. Like, we're going to overcome anything. And many of them are champions. So I just feel like, y'all, whether you watch Married at First Sight or not, maybe check out a couple episodes. I'm not being paid to say this. So I'm just telling you, I think it's a dope show, because I think it does get you into the mindset of understanding that level of commitment very, very fast to somebody you don't know. And you have to get to know, and many of the best part about the show is many of those couples have gone on to stay married and love each other and grow with each other and have kids and share, and have family outings and all those different things that people want to do. So I think that's the beautiful part about the show that really stands out to me, is like, it's possible. If you work at it, it can happen for you. So yeah, Married at First Sight, dope show. I really enjoyed it as I watched it a little bit, and I hope you maybe check it out. All right. Well, that's another installment, y'all, of Kickback Conversations. Thank y'all for joining us. Don't forget to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Kickback Conversations. We have this amazing thing called Dollar in a Dream, where we are investing in Black-owned businesses and people who are trying to get their business off the ground. By you just putting $1 or a couple dollars down as in response to that, you can actually nominate a business that you would like to see us support coming up. So please go and support that. Again, it's on patreon.com/kickback. We want to make sure everybody know